My name is Oscar.
My name is Carl.
And this is Who Would Watch This? Welcome to Who Would Watch This, the podcast where we watch a film, chat about the film, and try and figure out who would watch this.
Today we're talking about Borderlands, which currently holds a 4.3 on IMDb, a 1.5 on Letterboxd, and a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oscar, what's the plot?
An infamous bounty hunter returns to her childhood home, the chaotic planet of Pandora, and forms an unlikely alliance with a team of misfits to find the missing daughter of the most powerful man in the universe. This is going to be an adventure, Carl. I'm very excited. Are we...
And what an adventure it shall be.
But Carl, before we go on an adventure, should we go back to last week when we were also on an adventure? This little thing called life, huh?
Yeah.
And go back and think who we thought would watch us?
Yes, please.
Please, I'm begging you, begging you.
Please go back in time. You hear that rattle? That is the beginning of the segment. Because I've got myself a little iced coffee today.
Coffee. Oh my goodness, he's feeling very refreshed. The room is already sweltering. If you guys are long-time listeners, you'll know for 3 months this room is just vile. It's a hot box, and we try and for some reason I don't know why we always go like, let's do 7 in a row. Let's get our sweat on for 20 hours talking about just random nothing.
I'm in a white shirt. It's clinging to me.
It's see-through. It's like cling paper. It's hideous.
You'd think it was worth me not wearing a shirt.
Oh
That's how see-through
well, it's
it
gone
is
in.
now.
It's in your body now. That's not coming off.
It's just fully absorbing. And frankly, that's nutrition to those at home.
You wouldn't believe how little calories and how much protein's in a t-shirt.
That's right. It's like those stealing a DVD ads where it's like, you wouldn't consume a shirt with your body, would you?
Oh, come on, though. It's pretty good for you. Carl, next week we're doing Borderlands. We're a little bit late to the party, mainly because we did not want to go pay for the cinema for this, and neither did anybody. But it's going to be on video on demand. So you know what that means? We can buy it legally. Don't
Absolutely.
laugh. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Eli Roth deserves our money. I didn't watch Thanksgiving, and he deserves this money.
See, I gave him the money for Thanksgiving, so he should be pleased.
That's fair enough.
He's lucky Thanksgiving came out and was cheap and successful.
It seemed like he midway through this film was like, I need to save my career. It's crazy halfway through a film. Like, I need to make another. I need to make an alternative choice.
Yeah.
Carl, have you seen it, heard about it, and what do you think about Borderlands? He made a game.
I was curious for it. I'm pretty sure I've played it.
Yeah.
Is where it's that in that vague. I'm pretty sure I've played
Gotcha.
this. I know the iconography. When I was into video games in high school, this definitely would have come up. So it's there. And then when the trailer came out, I was like, I don't know what this is. So apart from like knowing the bits and pieces that were there, or like an exploding bunny, or like things like that.
Yeah.
I was pretty baffled by the entire cast, as I think most of the internet was. And I think that's where everybody wrote the movie off.
Yeah.
I was not shocked.
At the trailer. And then it came out, and it just sort of... It hasn't done well. No one's... It seems like no one's found a redeeming quality to it.
And it's expensive, right?
Yeah, real expensive.
Yeah.
Like 120, something ridiculous like
Yeah.
that.
It felt very... I think its audiences have wised up to it almost, but it felt like that trailer was Suicide Squad, like... We've cut together something energetic, and you're like, wait a minute.
Hang on.
You've got nothing here.
Shit's leaking out. I'm not going to fall for that one again. No.
This looks like a mess. Don't threaten me with a good time when you know you've gotten a mess.
Eli Roth, you're not offering me anything, okay? Carl, I was a big fan of these games when I was a child. Yes. However, I did think that ain't going to work. There's something you could do here, maybe with the actual world. And because I think the background's really interesting and all the planets and everything like that. But you put these characters on screen, you're going to have a real bad time. It's going to be an
really
just it is. I feel like it's hard to look back at maybe our childhood and be like, what did the 2000s define? I think this game defines the 2012s. That sort of sense of humor and what a character has to be. And it's something you don't want to be put on screen. They're great games. But there's certain things I wouldn't... And it seems like the only thing they're going to put onto the movie is the characters and some of the writing. And that's... You've squeezed the wrong part of it.
Okay.
There is a Telltale game, I think, called Borderlands. I can't remember what the actual title is.
How good were the Telltale games?
I'd say this is their best one, the Borderlands.
Really?
Yes, 100%.
I loved Wolf Among Us and their Batman one.
Yeah. The Borderlands one is fantastic, as similar to the Walking Dead one.
Oh, yeah, the Walking Dead one's good.
Yeah. But Carl, who would watch Borderlands?
Okay. Look, I mean, people are eating well at the moment for video game to TV and film adaptations.
Has been very kind to them.
So-
It's nice to get back to your roots, huh? It was a good year. I mean,
Well, we don't know it. I think I'm worried I'll like it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Okay, it's funny. Moments ago, you said it looked like shit coming out the screen, but you know, maybe that is alluring to you.
I think I'm very easy to win over if there's color.
Yeah.
Like a
Many babies
distracted
are.
toddler.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm hoping it's like a crisp 90 minutes.
Have you seen Blocks? They fucking go hard. Yeah, it's short. Oh, that would be a dream, wouldn't
so
it?
I'm like here's the thing. This is a 5-star film if it's 80 minutes. Everyone knows that's the rule of this podcast. If you're coming in at a good running time, you're better than most of the movies we've seen here. Yeah. So, who do I think would watch it? Fans of Kate Blanchett.
Yep, of course. If you're doing a double feature,
if you love
Tar.
Notes in a Scandal,
Yep.
Tar,
Yep.
that's it. And
If
then
you've kind of gone Kate Blanchett, you know, she was good in Carol, but can she really capture Borderlands? And maybe she can.
That's right. I wish it was just Carol in Borderlands. Was she Carol? Was she the titular Carol or was Rooney Mara the Carol?
I don't know. I really want to see Carol. I don't want spoilers. I don't want to know, and by that, I don't want to know who the name is. I don't want to know who this titular Carol is.
I know it's a Christmas movie, and that just makes me assume that it's a Christmas Carol.
Oh my God.
Is that
what
it?
That's a beautiful
Is that
film.
it?
I mean, let's go out and watch it, huh?
Yeah. Oscar, who would watch Borderlands?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to go off. We are not biased here at this podcast. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not going to look at the negative reviews. I'm going to go by the quality that's been displayed to me on the trailer. And I think if you just love Funko Pops, you're going to go ham and cheese for this. That's the new saying.
So you reckon I'm going to love it?
You have Funko Pops? Ooh,
Didn't we go down this road recently?
Not recent enough because I'd forgotten.
Did we not talk about it on the podcast?
pretty
Maybe
violent.
I was a Funko Pop person.
That's gross.
It was when it was at its height, and I was like, these are fun little
4
things.
months ago? Okay, damn.
When did they go out of favor? Like, you know, what's the place
I
that
think-
teamed up with EB? Zing.
Yeah.
You know?
Whatever
That's like when
those games
Zing was like, what if we could sustain having a shop at every Westfield?
And it's
now
just
they
tat.
can't.
It's just tat. We have a little section of a Switch games, but it's mainly tats. We've got some very expensive, very poorly made anime pillows in the background, and you're gonna get them.
Oscar, fuck this.
Okay, Carl, back on your big way. Okay. How you feeling? How you doing?
So people know I had to be up very early to watch this movie to fit it into my day.
Yeah.
Bad footing. This is a loud, noisy, frustrating film to start the day.
Yeah.
And then do a podcast on. I'm tired. I'm upset. I feel violated. The movie is simply like it's rude to you. Like if somebody just sort of yelled at you on the street
Oh, like a
over
toddler
something
farts in your
miscellaneous.
face, and you can't hit the toddler. You have to let it to keep doing that. It's a vile creature, isn't it?
It's sort of at that point of like people like shame. Shame should be felt to those who have done this to us.
Yep.
And I think it's a very interesting movie in the fact that I'm gonna say off the bat, I think this cast is trying.
Oh,
With what they've been given.
Yeah, I think everyone has given it a go. The
Yeah.
only problem is the characters should not have been given a go. It is some of the most. You played the games, right?
Okay, so this is where I think I've had a bit of a revelation about
Hit me.
myself and my history, because this is about finding a vault or there's
Yes.
vaults and things. I definitely in my mind meshed Borderlands and Fallout together.
Oh, classic mistake.
yeah.
A lot of little vaults.
Yeah.
And this is one big vault.
Yeah.
Classic mistake.
So I think
classic
when I
blunder.
used to go to my friend's place and we'd play video games, that this was definitely there, but like
Fantastic. This is a great place of fitting because I was thinking throughout the whole film going, oh my God, I know what's happening and I can understand everything. Where are you at?
nonsense.
Oh, absolute nonsense, right?
So hard to
oh,
follow.
Totally.
It really is a great comparison to just compare it to Suicide Squad, where you're just like, wait, what adventure are these people
I
on?
think it's
Why are they together?
It feels like it's banking on, and I've played the games. I played them a lot. I know exactly what's going through. I know all the beats. But I they don't hold your hand with establishing anybody.
No.
So it really feels like I'm being like, well, I've heard the story before, and you're being just like the bullet points of a story, an absurd story over here. It's a strange movie.
And it's very clearly like greenlit on the back of we're doing Guardians of the Galaxy, we're doing Thor Ragnarok. Like I think even the set design and things like that look like that.
Yes, the set design is strange,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean, you can see the money on screen.
I was surprised how good the movie was looking.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wow, they're in environments.
Like, I'm not saying like, wow, they've used the money fantastic. It's just they've definitely built.
They're all in costumes.
Yeah.
There's big CGI things that don't look awful. Like they're like, oh, that's good CGI. Sometimes there's an acid river that was not good CGI.
No, there's a lot of.
But a lot of the big things looked good to me.
Yeah, I mean, not. It's like it looks fun. They've definitely spent the money.
Yeah.
Not well.
No.
I don't think so. Everything's just a bit. It just feels like a really great theme park ride the whole way through. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But you know,
You can tell that they were like, this is going to be high octane, and
Yeah.
we're never going to stop, and we're never going to do anything or learn anything, and we're just going to, and it's going to keep going forever.
Yeah.
Like that is the energy.
which is what a good video game is. That's just like a constant like gameplay loop of like bang explosions. And I think Borderlands has gone down that route of sort of a bit, pastiche. We're actually doing that in the video game. We're actually winking to the camera, knowing it's all a bit blah and all that sort of stuff.
Well, look, because I don't want to point fingers, but I think it's worth talking about because this person's never come up on the podcast before, so I am interested to talk about them a little bit. Eli Roth. So he has never come close to helming a movie with this production budget. He has never done something that has ever been a 4-quadrant movie. He's never done something that was not this violent.
Which is, I think, I mean, no, they probably were right to, because it's already lost a lot of money. But these games are quite violent, and I think comically violent, which, fair enough to him, I think that's kind of his bag, right?
Well, I was sort of getting the vibe it had been edited into a PG-13, right? Like, I was like, this was... There were things where I was like, it feels like they would have inserted CGI blood there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're looking at such a weird frame and you're like, why is it like this?
A lot of empty space to the left.
Yeah,
there,
so it feels like there was meant to be
painted.
Yeah, something is meant to, and they're doing a lot of just sort of nothing action. Yeah, because how many Eli Roth
Not
movies?
a single movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so. At least I don't think so. Maybe one segment in the middle of Planet Terror. I think he did one of those. That's my
He did Thanksgiving in
I've
that would
seen
be
it.
Planet Terror
Yeah.
or Grindhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he also did. It's probably his best film, in my opinion, is The House with a Clock on Its Walls, which actually is a children's film, and that's with Cate Blanchett.
Oh, damn.
And Jack Black.
Yeah.
So it feels like he obviously.
Oh, I do remember that. I
Yeah.
feel like either Goosebumps came out maybe like 3 years. I just merged those
Yeah.
two.
Totally.
Yeah.
This one's the better one. This
Yeah.
one's better than Goosebumps for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think Eli Roth has been like, well, I can still make it freaky, but it just can't be violent. And
Yeah.
I think that put him in a creative box.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not like the best movie or anything, but I think that's a fun kids movie.
Yeah, totally.
So maybe that was why they were thinking he could handle this. Maybe they wanted the names attached. But in between, like, Death Wish, Knock Knock, and The Green Inferno, the Hostel movies, Cabin Fever. One of the things that I do want to point out is because you're saying that Borderlands did not age well in its sense of humor.
No. I've not seen the third one. I mean, maybe it was great when I was 15.
Yeah.
I just think looking back, you kind of go, ugh, there's definitely like a very certain particular style of comedy. I think it's gone out of fashion.
Well, because he, in my opinion, has a very childish sense of humor. Like, it is a lot of those Cabin Fever movies are like, what if my penis was infected?
Yeah.
Like the...
Bang. You know what? I think they've done well to hire him.
Yeah, and I mean, that's from 2002. So, like, he amongst it.
Yeah.
So I think this... Because, I mean, I've got to tell you, I did not find an ounce of this movie humorous.
Oh, and I do feel bad for Jack Black especially, and the person who plays the girl, Tiny Tina.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, Claptrap, I think in the game, a big bit better written in the sense that he is an annoyance, and that is almost the bit that he is sending on ruining your mission and making it longer. And that is almost where the comedy comes from. When you just put him in a room in the corner, it isn't funny. It's pretty vile.
Was frustrating.
Yeah.
He was Jar Jar Binks level.
Yeah.
I was like, get this little fucking robot out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not finding him charming. I think that was one of the other things too, is the movie is sort of like, what if we made a family and that's the heart? That's not good enough anymore.
Every single
time they
get into the car, you go, this is just a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
No, none of you should be sitting near each other. Absolutely ridiculous. Also, the Tiny Tina character, we'll get into the whole character list and everything, but this just an impossible task to make this person not annoying.
Absolutely.
It is similar in the game. It's a person that is meant to be annoying.
Yeah. And it's also tough too when you've got a child, because I think it's really tough just in movies in general to go, this child is like an active character. People just turn against the child, especially if they're annoying and frustrating. It's every time people are just like...
Every character choice, like, you can see the character choices of just like, dancing around when there's an explosion going on. That's what the character does. And it's just like, if you want to play it truthfully, you kind of got to do that. But it doesn't work in a real live action. It's just odd and off-putting. Really.
It is.
It's upsetting because it's just an impossible task.
This young actress is trying and is doing like a fine job. It's just that this character is super frustrating to be around. The whole thing is.
Yeah.
It's just...
Well, and I think that's what I was like, why do these games, the comedy, work a bit better when it's just these similar characters? I think because they're never in the same room together.
Yeah.
You're normally just doing a mission, and you've almost got like a podcast in the background of them sort of essentially insulting you, which is better.
Yeah.
At least they're mocking you and sort of commenting on the whole game and sort of being a bit meta, and that's better. Whereas if you put them all in a room together, they're just oddities that shouldn't work and don't.
Well, I think because the movie's working in this fashion of like, we're accruing people, so once they're in, they then don't leave the movie again.
Yeah.
But it probably need to be a little bit more like, meet them and something happens and there's a bond and then they move on and then they all come back in the third act to work together.
Yes.
But they've only got so much dialogue they can spout at each other that is meant to be funny or meant to be quippy, and it's just not.
Isn't it odd? Let's get into
Deeply stale.
Let's get into the actual plot. We'll start collecting our characters. We open with Roland, played by
Kevin Hart,
who. So it starts off with like, I'm short, right? I'm like, okay, that's fine. I was surprised. That's the last one. We never hear him do another joke again.
Yeah, he's got the serious role.
Yeah.
And I was really happy about that, to be honest. I think I have liked and disliked Kevin Hart in things, so I was glad that he was like, I'm happy to do a bit of a backseat role here.
Totally.
So good for him.
Yeah. It opens with him and essentially Krieg, who's this psycho. I'm not sure who the actor who plays him, but essentially in universe, these are sort of like the insane people that live on the planet.
Yeah. Why do they all wear this mask?
So I don't know exactly how it causes it, but pretty much everyone's here insane. They call the wasteland people psychos.
Yeah.
And they've all got the mark of the vault.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, the vault's like kind of corrupting them. This whole planet's been sort of corrupted by whatever the energy that like spouts out the vault. That's why they've all got that.
Yeah.
But again, it's not explained though, is it? Because that's a playable... It's odd they've gone for 2 playable characters in the first game and then 2 playable characters in the second game and an NPC. Like, who are just fan favorites. And they've gone, well, you 4 together and that will work.
Yeah.
Instead of doing, I guess, what one game does or second game. It's just... It isn't explained though, is it?
No.
No.
It's funny because the movie just sort of goes down this like generic checklist of like, this opening is very like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the villains are coming in, this person comes and collects someone, they disappear, we focus on somebody else.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett sort of enters the movie and is like, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
I think that line should be banned from film now. We've had that line said enough.
I think so. And you just feel a bit bad for Kate Blanchett. You just think, but you're doing such better work. I don't think she's just been given a rough trot with this character. Like, I don't think the character...
She looks like she's having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I think she's got a good like energy in it. It's just a bad role in a bad film.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not Kate Blanchett's fault.
No.
I don't think any of the actors are at fault in the film.
No. It seems as though, as well, I do like that it seems like, I read him as, I don't think anyone's at fault.
No.
I think they said, I want to make a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, we've got Borderlands IP, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then about 9,000 people quit, and it just landed on someone's desk, and everyone went, oh, I'm still attached to that? And we're rocking up to set. And it's and it's just a bit, and no one's happy, but that's fine.
It feels very
blameless.
in class when the story's going around and everyone gets to write a sentence and pass it to the right.
Yes.
The movie's feeling that, and it's like it lands on the desk, and they're like, and then Cate Blanchett goes to the market. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, and then Cate Blanchett goes to the market.
Yeah.
And what does she find? What does she find? We get pretty much given to her a mission. Hey, you're a bounty hunter. Go down to Pandora and find my daughter. I want her alive. Can you do that for me? Yeah, sure. I didn't realize this is our big bad.
Yeah.
Pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I realized it was our big bad because I recognize that actor. So he won't be a bit player.
No. It's just a bit. I did feel a bit deflated. It's I guess not the only change they made, but it's.
Because is it a faceless corporation in the game? It doesn't actually have a figurehead?
Yes, it does. And I think the strongest thing the second game does is introduce a character that is incredibly charismatic and quite evil. And is very fun. I think has almost stood the test of time and a good character people quite like. I think his name is Handsome Jack. Very fun, very charismatic. Could very much easily work in this game. It's odd they've chosen not to do that. I mean, granted, they really haven't explained anything, so maybe it's fine to just have a blank. They're evil, and that's fine. We're going to focus on our characters.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would be like, well, I'm just going to hang out with the villain.
Yeah. The environments and where they are and what they're doing are just all very repetitive places.
Yeah.
We're in an alley. We're in a bar. We're in a spaceship hallway. We're in a wasteland.
Yeah.
It's a shame that there's no unique place in the society that is sort of being built for us that they could go to, where you're like, wow, this is developing the world in an interesting way.
Totally. I mean, they've got like this in the game. They've got like a rundown city, which is sort of like it's all like junk. And I feel like the cities look quite nice, right? They're meant to be like much more run down. So it is just like very just odd they've gone for a generic thing because I always think that Borderlands has this sort of cowboy beat bop sort of vibe to it. Like it's like everything's a bit run down, it's a bit grimy, gritty, and then there's like a super hyper modern tech. Like it's a nice clashing, you know, of that sort of like clean aesthetic and then like a really gross, just dirty aesthetic. So it is a shame that it all kind of looks pretty cookie cutter, generic sci-fi.
Yeah. It definitely feels like they've been told to hit a certain brief in the standard of what space is looking like at the moment for a goofy film. And they've gone, yep, it's that.
Yeah. It's just the backdrop, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, we've got the colorful characters. You don't need to do any of that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. It can be just a nice blue in the background.
Cate Blanchett gets asked to go on a mission to find this girl that Kevin Hart has, and they are on the planet
Pandora.
Yeah.
Like an avatar.
Yeah, like an avatar. I think because I kept on getting confused because it was like, it's like she was the queen of Lilith or?
Her name is Lilith.
Oh, her name is Lilith.
Yeah. What?
Well, I feel like an idiot.
No. You don't know. Because the movie has not explained this to you. You tell me exactly what you think's going on. Because I was writing notes going, I'm filling in the gaps. What is your even understanding of this? Because they don't hold your hand at all, and in like a negative way. It's not like a avant-garde film that's like, ooh, maybe it was death all along. No, what's your perception of who is Cate Blanchett?
Well, so she's a bounty hunter who has been hired to go and get a girl from a planet that I was unaware until the end of the movie she's from originally.
Yep.
And had left, and that there is a vault of goods there that will help everyone, and the only way to get in is using the girl. But I could not tell you as to why, if you're there, you have special powers or telekinesis or transportation.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is or why that is.
Yeah.
And if that is, do they all have that?
No, it's kind of Jedi vibes, you know?
Okay.
Just sort of like...
Was that added to this, or was that in the game?
No, that's in the game, but that's like
that you can teleport.
It's a power you have.
Right.
From the get-go.
Right.
And you're like, okay, well, I'm a video game character. Of course I can teleport.
It's a first-person perspective of the game?
Yeah, it's first-person, yeah.
Right, so you can teleport.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason we can is...
Like, some of them are sort of like Jedis in this world.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's a lot of Star Wars-y stuff.
So are they saying Cate Blanchett's mom was a Jedi?
Equivalent, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yet she got herself killed.
Yes.
Okay, so she's a bad Jedi. She's a bad Jedi.
Yeah, because... It's a confusing... I think it's in the game, it's fine, because they've got about 30,000 audio logs you can listen to and be like, there's all the lore. But in the movie, You're really not held your hand. It's a weird reveal, isn't it?
I think also because the lore that they're doing in the movie, at least, is so deeply derivative of so many other things.
Totally.
There's not a lot new. I mean, even just the fact that there is a line when when Jack Black's robot comes into the movie and is like, "Whoa, you saved those kids, and I thought you were a horrible person." That's the line.
Yeah.
And it's like, we know what her arc is going to be. Like, we've seen a bounty hunter who doesn't care about anyone turn into somebody who cares about the people they're with.
Yes.
That is not a new arc for this type of story.
No. And again, it's this sort of, I think it's the problem of the whole game is that it's very much, the comedy comes from commenting on the situation and what's like the cliche they're doing. Whereas in a film that's incredibly cliche, you're just like, oh, guys, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. Don't go down that well. You're just left sort of confused. Anyway, we do get introduced to Kate Blanchett, the clapchat, which is Jack Black, and they find Tina very easily.
Yeah, so quickly. So we get our first big action set piece of the movie. Kate Blanchett gets into a big fight with...
I think the Red Guard or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, essentially the Red Cops of this planet who've taken over the planet because there's
the Red Cops really threw me because obviously this character that's leading the Red Cops ends up dying at the end of the movie.
Oh, this is and I'll give them. I don't know it's intentional. This is the
big
biggest
laugh.
Big laugh.
Big laugh.
Yeah, this is funny.
Yeah,
this
followed by Kevin Hart's no.
I really
Who
hope...
is she? Why did she change?
don't know.
I wasn't aware he knew her.
No.
Like, I was like, what's going on
It's
here?
not established at all. You don't have any sympathy for them because they're like, kill that girl, set one. You're like, okay, well, you're the bad guys.
Yeah.
And it's odd to go for this whole thing. Like, they're just the villains, but they're just stormtroopers. But one of them's taking their helmet off and they're going, well, don't humanize that person.
Yeah.
We're still going to kill them.
You know what's odd?
It's just Star Wars.
It is, isn't it? They're just because I think the fact that they are Jedi and they're looking for a vault and they have to save someone who is like their only hope. I don't know. It's just like which
is finally a video game because most of the gameplay loop is just sort of you finding better loot.
Well, the gameplay is then what helps make it different.
Yeah.
So if that's derivative of Star Wars and then turned into a movie, then the movie's like, well, now it's just being derivative of Star Wars.
It was 2000. I think the first one's 2009 and the second one's 2012. Video games are a nice story back then. You didn't care about cliche. It was like, I got a sniper. We're fine. We're fine. I don't care the characters. I'm just jumping around the cutscenes. You know, that's all I'm doing. So it's fine. It's just odd. Anyway.
I don't get why this keeps happening in the movie, but I'm just saying, if a little girl was to throw, frankly, the filthiest looking toy bunny at me, I wouldn't catch it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, hands in pockets, that's Jeremy.
You would have fried
hands in pockets. Would have gone with like this with my shoulder. Would have been like, oh, I'm not catching that.
You would have thrived in Vietnam. You wouldn't believe how many times I got caught with that trap. Classic bunny one.
You've got, people need to stop playing with bunnies.
It's a hard no. They do keep getting tricked by her with these bunnies. It's not.
Why? How is she controlling them?
See, here's the thing. You're just
How are they activated?
I don't mind, like, because in the game you got a grenade in your pocket. I'm not going with. She's got 50 in her pocket. That's fine. You know,
but it feels like she's got a Terminator.
Yeah, she does.
Or somebody. So she knows which bunny to use.
Yes, in the game, you can just throw a thing and pop it out.
Yeah,
that's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah, I'm just saying the bunny always goes off whenever.
We can't nitpick it, Carl.
What'd you say?
I said nitpick.
Sure you did.
Yeah, I fucked up there.
Sure you did.
I was in a bit of an L.
And now I get to nitpick because you couldn't pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, hit me right now. What's up with these detonators? I mean, how are they going to control it? That's just ridiculous.
Well, how do they control these detonators? We get a big chase.
Yes.
It feels very lifeless. The money has been spent on it, though.
Yeah, the money's been spent on it. Isn't it odd that you're just... Because it's like you got the first act, where it's like, here's our characters. Second act, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then the third act, let's do it.
It is funny as well because we've sort of like had this whole build up of the fight and them not getting along, and then immediately they're like, Kate Blanchett, hop in.
Yeah, it does just feel like all the weirdos gather around, and the cops can be like, it's just, and you're just left with nothing. It's so void of a character, which is upsetting because I think they've just gone, well, the legwork's done with. I guess the fans, but how many fans are there of this video game? That
it's surely too late to do a Borderlands.
Well, the third game came out 3 or 4 years ago. And
really?
And they're making a fourth.
Okay.
And so I think the idea was almost to release this game, get even more. Cause the third one spiked in player counts massively after the film, even though it was a bomb.
Yeah.
Just
good advertisement that it exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is like a shit. Because have you watched Fallout?
No, I need to watch Fallout.
Fallout is about as good of an adaptation as you can do, where you go, I'm taking ingredients and lore, and I'm carving my own narrative.
Yeah. Which is all you need, which I think is the best one. I think the Telltale game does that. It's like, hey, this world, great. That one character, great. What if, essentially, it pretty much goes, what if a stormtrooper was pretty much immediately went defective and then had to, essentially just Force Awakens. But what if Finn was much more, it's just a whole thing.
Yeah.
They've gone for that because the world is interesting. And I think Fallout, the world is interesting.
Yeah.
The actual gameplay is just you shooting and stuff. Actually, Fallout has a bit better of an arc, I think. Not an arc, bit more of a better story. Anyway, you are right though. You need to just take the elements and the ingredients.
Well, I
How's
think
Last of Us? I've never seen Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us is good. I think
that one's got more of like an inbuilt story. That story,
yeah, and I mean even that one's also very happy to add and change things up a little bit, keeping that core narrative, but going, what if we explored this character here and these choices, and we had a little bottle episode here. I think it's about because Eli Roth also wrote this, right?
I think so.
I think I saw his name on the
There's
screenplay
a
credit at
bunch
the end.
of that Craig Mazin guy wrote it for a bit. I think it got taken off. Like it just seems it's been passed about.
Yeah, it probably just has gone through a lot of hands.
Yeah.
But it feels like, well, I guess maybe the onus could fall onto the producer. But if Eli Roth's the one that's got the big screenplay credit and the director credit, then he's probably done a lot of the work here. It's probably about them not knowing what actually makes this special. Because I think one of the best things about the adaptations of The Last of Us and Fallout is whoever has been behind it. I mean, Craig Mazin was behind The Last of Us, has gone, I know why this is special to me.
Totally.
Like, I know why if this wasn't a video game, I would still enjoy this story and the world.
Totally.
So
I think the world is there. I think it is interesting. Like it's very much you've got this desolate planet, and I think where the better comedy comes from. Essentially, a bunch of corporations have come in and just fucked it up completely. Like they're so egregiously capitalist. Like they're just destroying the world. They're blowing up things left, right, and center. Just like we need some profit though. Like most of it's just that, and that's funny. Essentially, just they made like a gentrified neighborhood for one's level. Great stuff.
Well, I mean that's a way more interesting commentary to have.
Yes.
Like that does not touch this film.
That's why I think and when I look back on Borderlands, I'm like, that's I think where the games. That's what I think I still find funny. Whereas I think what has leached through, and maybe it's just like a loud fandom, but I think that sort of random LOL sort of humor that plagued the sort of early 2000s and 10s is the thing that sort of stood out. And I think what they've sort of gone, that this is what works. And it really isn't. The first game's much more gritty and a lot more darker. The second one kind of gets that balance of dark sort of capitalism and enough fanfare that people jumped on it. And then I haven't seen the third one, but I think it's probably got this. It's probably gone down that route. Yeah,
it feels like apart from the fact that they've miscast these characters, it feels like they've given it too big a budget, right?
Yeah.
I think there's probably a really creative thing here if this was a $50 million movie. Like, or whatever the first Deadpool was spent on the first Deadpool, $60 million.
Yeah.
Like that's...
You don't need...
And then you got to get super creative with how you're trying to stretch that to an hour 40 narrative. With that sort of smaller budget.
Totally, yeah. I mean, you can be gritty, but you've also got like quite an interesting art style. Like, I think the games is like the Shade Cell and stuff like that. It looks quite interesting. You can do something creative with. It's a shame they've gone for very well lit, not real blocking, just big environments. Like, that's not. You could have gone for a much.
Very well lit. Very, very coverage designed, not storyboarded in the slightest.
Oh, the action sequence are just that was some of the weakest parts. We'll get.
You know what's crazy is it's really funny how much I think seeing just because it was a movie that I saw this year, Nosferatu, which seems like the most storyboarded movie I've seen recently in a cinema at least, where I'm like, wow, they've just every frame is as it should be, and as that's all they've got.
Yeah.
The real confidence in being like, nope, that's the shot I want, and that's what we'll be getting. The film's
edited. I'm done. Like, we can maybe rearrange stuff, but that's it. That's the ingredients you've got. Essentially.
If the producer's like, I don't love that, and you're like, that's all it is. That's all it is.
It does feel like a film that probably had like another 30 minutes to it because I think they would just like chop it, because it just feels like the bare bones of a story, right? It's just like, here's the gang, what are we finding? We're getting the stuff, and we're done. Even the ending, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
The ending's the best part, in my opinion. That's where I was really like, whoa, okay, all right. Now I've got something to talk about.
Totally. Where are we at?
We're at the piss field.
Okay, cool. They all get piss in their mouths.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, blanket stare from me.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
you know,
roll
just
your
say
windows,
it's going to be
you-
piss.
Yeah, don't be coy.
Just say it's
Just
going to be
coy.
piss. I got to tell you, when there is like a 10-second countdown to me being pissed on, I'm going to be like, close the window, we're going to get pissed on. Okay?
It's such a good warning.
Yeah.
Don't be coy in that
If I'm
moment.
being coy about it, I'm asking to be pissed on.
Yeah.
I think it's more telling about Kevin Hart's character that he's like, let the piss come in, I'll
Yeah.
be coy.
I don't care. I'm
That's
nonchalant.
fine.
That's my character. God, when he gets pissed, you know what? It's actually a good scene. I think the piss works. The piss does work.
Yeah. Honestly, a better way to play it would be Kevin Hart turning with an excited face, being like, we just got pissed on.
Take your windows out, guys. Here it comes. Here it
Guys,
comes.
everybody. Oh, it's stenching up the car.
If it got nasty like that, maybe that would have turned the film around.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. Oh, has
It
this
would've
monster
got-
had
it would've got-
asparagus?
yeah, it would've got-
dehydrated asparagus?
It's gotten a weird audience, but God, it's got an audience on Lock and Key.
Yeah.
That's good for them.
Yeah. Hey, you seen the new Borderlands? There is an incredible piss scene in it.
Anyway.
Metacritic 40. It would have gone up. It would have gone up to 40 for sure. I know what critics like.
10% of critics love piss.
They love it.
Love piss. You go on Letterboxd, 1 out of 10, piss lovers.
People forget this. Critics are freaks.
Oh yeah, of
Okay,
course.
nobody
they
loves
sit in
cinema.
a dark room and watch a screen. How about you kill yourself or get into piss?
That's a freak.
Yeah.
That's a freak right
Yeah.
there. Anybody that loves to review movies and or watch them, freak.
Look to your left, look to your right, and then look in the mirror. Guess what? Piss lover right
That's
there.
a freak. That's a freak. They're basically like, look, Kate Blanchett, you're a part of us now.
Yeah.
You go, okay, I
We've
guess
got
that's
the
fine.
team of Claptrap. We've got Jack Black. We've got Jack Black as a robot. We've got the girl. We've got Kevin Hart. We've got Kate Blanchett, and they're like, I know who we can go to. Jamie Lee Curtis. She's a mad scientist.
Oh god, isn't this a part where they're like, what if we just gave all of the exposition as quick and bluntly as possible?
She pretty much opens the door and goes, I'm just mid-sentence. Right, you're my mother. I looked after you. You're the vault key, and this is what's going to do.
Yeah.
We need to go down to the sewer to get this, and then we're going to go over there.
The little girl's like, I'm a clone and I was told to do bad things, so I hate my dad. Like, it's just everything
Everyone's
is
at 5.
unpacked.
Everyone's just go, okay, it's like you've clicked on the dialogue option for all 5 people, and they've just started
And they're
we're just
speaking over one another.
And they're just like, that's how efficient it is. It's like Succession. They're all chatting over each other.
Yeah.
It's better.
Absolutely. We have this incredible scene where Kate Blanchett's Lilith and the little girl go out onto a balcony and go, you are broken. Little nugget for all these Succession fans out there.
Anyway, Carl, it is odd. Now the mission is we need to find, there's 3 keys. We've got 1, and we need to find another, and also the little girl is a key. So we just need to find a key.
Everything's a key. Everything they need to find is a key.
Yeah.
Everything's a key. Everything's a key.
Did this work for you? Because I don't...
Yes, I
can't-
love keys.
Okay, good, great. You're a groundskeeper. You got a big ring. How good would it feel to fiddle through a couple of keys and find the big one?
I would love to be a key keeper.
Oh, of course.
Do you remember when we were at that music festival and you just got to be the keeper of keys? Because you
sounds
were the
like I
only
was
one that brought a chain.
It sounds like I'm doing a bunch of ketamine. That's what it sounds like. Don't. But yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. And then you lost all the keys.
I did. It was such a foolish mistake. I should never be kept with the keys.
No.
But God, it felt good.
Yeah.
That big ring I had, but I was so lazy. I was so sleepy, and then a dog stole it. Oh, God, what a mistake on my behalf.
I know. We should have chained you and the keys to a tree, and then we would have been okay. But yeah, I think it was one of those things where I was like, oh, what are we doing? Everything's a key. Put down my phone, got into the movie.
Yeah. Okay. You're sad.
I was like, finally, I get it. Everything's a key.
Did you like that 2 of them were real keys and 1 was just a metaphor?
No.
No.
I hated it. I was like, so it's just keys? I was like, why are we just looking for keys? It's just I think when something is just so obviously a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Like, so just like, I have a key, I myself am a key, and we need the other key.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And so in that latest Star Wars movie where they began and they were like, we need the red orb. Why? Because it's going to get us
Shut
a
up.
key.
Yeah, we need that. Oh man, it's crazy they only need a key for a
Okay,
key,
cool.
right?
Like,
God.
it's just when
It's
there's really
flawless, that
obvious
film.
MacGuffin, unless they're fun MacGuffins, like it's like a briefcase
Yeah.
in Pulp Fiction, and they're like, it's not about the briefcase.
At least that's like a little bit, got a little something. But like when you've got just because in a video game, great.
You need a MacGuff. You need a MacGuffin in a video
it's like
game.
you need to walk over there. We need to watch you in real time walk over there and get to there. And because there's no other way to go, I'm sorry, there's a little wall and you can't go through that wall, so you need to go all the way around to use the key. And that's fine because I love the levels. In a movie, you're like, oh, gross, really? I don't want to see them get this key. They go, and I do love this because it's so cliche for a video game that they didn't even do it. They go to the sewers, Carl.
I know. This is just coming to me, and I feel like we did another podcast where we talked about this comparison with something. I'm not sure why, but Dungeons and Dragons is essentially a good Borderlands. Like, isn't that a great? We're getting the team together, we're pulling off a thing,
100%.
and that does a great job without a MacGuff.
Yeah.
Without an obvious MacGuff.
Yes. What is the actual driving force of
They're
that?
just trying to get his daughter back.
Yes, gotcha. And she's got a whole character, so she's fine.
It's fine.
It is, and that's oh my god, that was a such better one. Because I feel like that one's being a bit tongue in cheek with its like references to Dungeons and Dragons. That you're just like, if you're in the know, great. If you're not, I'm still invested in characters.
Yeah, because I didn't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. Loved that
Yeah.
film. Thought that was just a great time at the movies.
Our friend who's like a big into that was just like, here's all the references they're doing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, how
funny,
fun.
how clever.
The scene works by itself. You're really left out in the lurch. But here's the thing with that. I feel like our friend was rewarded for being a fan. I have watched this film as someone who knows what's going on. And I gotta tell you, I am just going, this is what's gonna happen.
I got shanked for
Yeah.
not being a fan.
Yeah.
The movie was like, you're not going to be carried.
You know what they shank you with? A key.
A key.
A key.
I got keyed.
Like
Scratched
a car.
me up.
Oh yeah, they really lowered your property value.
I think one of the things that also throws me when they do these very much like, all we need is a key, and the key is here. And then they do it with ease. I'm like, how have we not gotten to the vault
Someone should have
before?
gotten this key. Yeah.
Somebody should have had both these keys
Yeah.
and worked this all out way earlier in this planet's lifetime.
Totally. Well, I think because you need, if I remember correctly, you need to be the Jedi to open the vault. That's why no one's opened the vault.
Is she the only one left?
I think there's like 6. There's like less. I remember there being like barely any. I can't remember.
Have
exactly.
they been ordered 66? Like in what's happened to them? Have
I
they
think
been?
that, I think they may have, or there's something. I can't remember. It's like it's in one of those fucking like video logs, you know, just like. And I'm like, I've collected them for the achievement, but I'm not listening to the log. I'll watch a YouTube video on it. Okay, that's it.
You know what's sad about video logs? That job's totally just going to go to like AI, and you'll be like, oh, what's the law here? And the law is just going to be nonsense.
Oh yeah, because you just because you just be like, I don't want to work that hard in it. If you're if you're a small video game developer, you'd be like, ChatGPT would be really good at this,
Absolutely.
which is a shame, isn't it? They go to the sewers to find this key that is at an old facility that one of the like weapons manufacturers works at. That's another like fun lore building. One of the what's it called companies that comes down to the planet to mine it also sells weapons. Like Toyota has come down and also sell, like tractor. So they've just dumped thousands of guns on the floor and been like, oh whoops, they were cheap and poor, so we essentially militarized the whole planet to make a profit. And then just up to the left. That's why it's so violent and like aggressive. But they go to this warehouse to get the key. There's a bunch of the sort of psychos. Do you like the psychos? Do you know what the psychos are doing? What was your vibe?
I did not like the scene. I'm very checked out of the film.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's driving the force of the psychos other than they are psychos. So they're
Yes.
just like, you're foreign here, so we'll kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. It just sort of wafted over me.
Yeah.
My thing about this whole sequence that I found very odd, and I thought this is where I think I can pick the reshoot. Is Kevin Hart has a very heroic moment to not die.
What the hell was this?
Right?
What the hell was this? Because he's like, you gotta go. I'll lift the switch. And you know what I was thinking? Kevin Hart is like, I need to pull this switch. You guys all get in the elevator, you escape. Why not use the robot? It's just a robot. They don't like the robot. Just use the robot. I don't want to be just like, yeah, But like, guys, you've set him up as a very annoying character. Get a gag out of it.
It's also annoying too because you could be like, well, what if it's out of reach of the robot? We've established Kevin Hart's short as well.
Yeah.
Okay, they're both a similar
It's a
height.
twofer. You've got a lot of jokes here.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have gone for a sad death.
They should have fought over who's taller.
Oh, that you know what? And Kevin Hart deserved that. He deserved a little short joke. That's his little treat.
He's totally meant to die here, though, right?
Totally.
Because he is then only cut to or standing to the left of the rest of what happens in the movie.
Yes.
He at
But
one
how odd does it feel that this character survives? I'm like, well, that's
how does he survive? Because he gets so tackled, you assumed he's torn apart.
Yeah.
And then he at the end of the movie just zip lines in from nowhere and is like, and now I'm here.
does he even do anything really?
No, that's
No.
why I think he's been edited back in.
Yeah, just sort of like it's a bummer, which crazy they were like, keep it light, guys, you know.
I think it's almost so by the numbers to be like, and at the turning point of the second or third act, we're killing off one of the leads.
Oh, you think they're scrubbing a cliche by
I think they're scrubbing like how are the fans going to feel that we've killed off the character?
the character gets killed. That was my biggest issue.
Well, then why not just do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they
it's
were
a
like,
great scene in the film.
it could just be
in the
that they
game.
don't want, they were like, you know, it wouldn't.
What if we need Kevin Hart back for
Well,
the
that's what it
sequel?
could be. It could also, it's and sometimes this shit is as simple as we've test screened it. It got awful test screenings,
Yeah.
but people cited they liked Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
and they go, okay, more of him. It's like when test screenings were like, we like Channing Tatum.
Now
when
you're yeah.
okay, you can nitpick now.
No, that's flawless. Actually, that's how I pronounce it as well.
We like him in G.I. Joe Rebellion, and he gets killed off at the beginning. So they went and had to insert scenes before he gets killed off.
Yeah, gotcha.
like.
Oh, he's so goddamn delightful.
No, but it could be as simple as that because his involvement in the third act is sort of non-existent.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really do anything in the final moments when they're just like looking at
We're
fireworks
just
or standing in a
they're
road.
basking going, yep, we did it. And
Yeah.
just, okay, sure. Whatever.
So it just feels weird that he had a whole heroic death and then got up and dusted himself off, essentially.
Do you think it was, and this is a bit sexist, do you think it was just like, well, there's no boys? Because there's only like girls left over, which probably is, no offense to this franchise, I don't think it's very kind to, you know, it's very boy-centric, you know?
I mean, could be. Could be that. I mean, they could have had backlash as well about all of the male characters get killed off in the film.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know who cares.
Who
cares?
Yeah, it just feels like it's just like there's a poo on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, should we put glitter on it? It's like, guys, just
Yeah.
it's poo on the ground.
Yeah.
Just let it be poo on the ground.
And I'm like, if these people are complaining about the fact that all of the men have gotten killed off, look, why do you want to appeal to the movie, like to them to the movie anyway?
money.
Yeah, but it's like they're probably already going to see
Carl,
it anyway.
money's good, okay? You don't get money.
But it's crazy they're like, double down, put another $40 million into the movie. Well, this is making a bill.
There are so many. I also think the starts are reshoot as well because it's a cheap hallway.
It looks, and it's
and-
weirdly framed. It's two people having a conversation in a hallway.
Yeah.
It's so uninteresting.
And you're kind of like, it doesn't feel...
It doesn't look like the rest of the movie visually.
It doesn't look like the rest of the movie, and I feel like when it starts, Kate Blanchett's in this like neon lights cafe. You're like, that feels like an actual...
Doing massive narration.
Yeah.
It's also, it looks so cheap as to also be like, there's no choreography. It feels like Kevin Hart punches somebody and they go to the wrong, like they fall down to the right after being punched
There's
to
like
the left.
19 cuts. You're like, I guess that's a punch. I
Yeah.
think so.
I would love to get to the climax.
Yes, hit me.
Because we definitely need time to deconstruct it, in
Yes,
my opinion.
okay. Let's set the scene, okay? So, essentially, Jamie Lee Curtis has revealed to, I think, just us, the audience, that, hey, Tina she's the key, she might die
Yeah.
when she does
And
this.
she'll say it again as Tina goes to do it.
Oh, she starts going, she's like, by the way, you might die. She's like, huh? Oh, well, thanks. Bad vibe. Okay, well, sure, that's fine. We then, doesn't work. Oh, no, she's not the key. Guess what? Kate Blanchett might be the key. But oh no, the Red Guard's here, Carl.
But why is Kate Blanchett the key?
Great question. And we're going to figure this out right now. Listen, it is told to us that she is taken away from this planet, like in, what's it called? The seventh star, whatever, the Force Awakens, like the Rey. Like, you're a Jedi, you could be a Jedi, we're going to get you away from this planet.
Yeah.
It's
And we're not going to de-age Jamie Lee.
No.
It's just how she looks now.
We gave her a little brown, she's got some brown spray paint. And
Sunnies.
Yeah, that's
Can't
enough.
tell her age when she's in Sunnies.
You can't. She's a youthful person.
Put her in Oakley's.
So she was the key. She's Yeah.
She's the daughter.
Yeah.
So I guess the mum had an affair with the king?
I cannot remember.
With the king?
I don't think it's a king. I don't think there's any kings in this
Right.
kingdom.
Then how do you get the blood?
I've got no recollection. I don't know where it's inherited or if it's just earned. If I remember correctly, maybe it's because you get in the second game, you get exposed to a very rare crystal or something like that.
Oh, fantastic writing.
Yeah. I think it literally is like a midichlorians, like Star. Man, I just keep going back to Star Wars, isn't it? It's just all it's all the fucking garbage, isn't it? God, it's a horrible little genre, sci-fi. It's all bullshit. I hate it. Anyway,
Dune's about oil.
and isn't direct. Yeah, she's the kid. Do you care?
No!
No!
I just want to go to what I do care about.
Yeah.
Flame wings. When Kate Blanchett gets flame wings and
Yeah.
has to start flying around because she's got no full power as the
feel
king.
like I knew...
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was just upsetting because I knew from the get-go. I know exactly... That's why
This happens in the game? You get flame wings?
Yeah, 100%.
This happens in the
Which
game.
is silly because she flies in cutscenes, but when you're playing your power, you just get the wings. You can't fly.
It's flame wings.
Yeah, it's flame wings.
She doesn't pull them off.
No, she tries, but she doesn't.
Seeing Kate Blanchett on wire work,
It's cruel, isn't it?
Doing
it's
this.
cruel. They've got a big sand set, and everyone's standing around while Kate Blanchett's in the middle of the space.
Yeah.
And it's just... Why? Just don't end it here, guys.
It's like one of those things where Cynthia Erivo's like, I was given 40 weeks to prepare for defying gravity. I learned to sing and be in
It
wires.
seems like someone hooked her belt buckle and didn't tell her, and just hoist her up, boys. We got her.
Just under her belt.
Yeah.
She went, ah! Pretend you've got fire wings. Why?
What do you mean? You're the fire wing girl. I
You're
don't
the
know.
daughter of Nazareth, maybe.
We're writing it as we go along. It could be ice wings. You might have a jetpack. We'll figure. Just play for your strengths.
Don't worry, Kevin might be back. He might come back. We haven't decided yet. Do you think the film's working, Kate?
Kate's hung upside down. She's like, "This is my next Tar." I am Lydia Tar 2. This is gonna nail it. How good's Tar?
Tar is so good. And the ending makes fun of people that like this sort of film.
Oh god, it does.
It's like she did this movie as an apology.
Yeah,
They were like,
she's
oh
like-
no, my fandom's turned against me from Lord of the Rings.
That, but also, yeah. Oh, did Phil get annoyed at that? Because
I don't think so.
They shouldn't have, because she nailed it. That's
She
a great
nailed
creative
it.
decision in the film, and it works.
Yeah.
It definitely was her being like, if I'm not getting a third fucking Oscar, I guess I'll go for the money.
Yeah.
And
She should have gotten an Oscar. Who
Yeah.
won the Oscar
it
instead
was
of her?
Everywhere, all at once.
Okay, fair.
Which I thought was
Very
great.
fair.
I hadn't seen Tar until after
Yeah.
the Oscars. It probably should have been, but I'm happy for Shelley.
I think it's one of those things where I do think that is probably the best performance of Kate Blanchett's career.
100%.
But I would also be like, she's got some Oscars. Everything Everywhere All at Once was really fresh, and Michelle Yeoh had to do martial arts, comedy, drama. She has these big speeches.
Had a bit of a comeback story to it.
I would, and I would also just say as well, I think a lot goes to show for when in a movie like Tar, your risk of making a bad film, in my opinion, is minimized. You're like, this is a hard drama. I've got a really talented director. If anything, it's just either going to come out boring or forgettable. Yeah. Right? Trusting that Everything Everywhere All at Once would come together when you're just like in a park and they're like, okay, now do subtitles on the rocks. Yeah. That's, as an actress,
you'd see the hot dog hands. You'd be like, listen, I'm having fun on set,
right.
but
this, I don't know if this will come together.
I've
I
got
think
an emotional beat.
getting an Oscar for trusting that entire process would work out as well is also included, in my opinion.
I'll then give this to Kate Blanchett.
She should get an Oscar for Fire Wings for sure.
She should, and that's who I'll be voting. We are Academy voters, as we all know.
As we all know, absolutely, I'm giving it to Fire Wings. It's a write-in option at the bottom.
Carl, the big reveal is essentially Kate Blanchett opens the vault to save the girl.
Yeah.
We then get introduced to the vault and the big villain from
Pretty underwhelming.
You know what's the worst about this? And I can't believe I'm like, well, the source material's not great. The biggest fun reveal is that it's not got any treasure in it. It's just a big monster.
Oh, because I was like, it doesn't look like there's anything here.
Exactly. I was literally thinking, I'm like, this is such an odd decision. What did you think this
Wow,
was?
that makes so much more sense. I just assumed that they must have been a mineral or something good.
Yeah.
Your boxes, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought all of the black was boxes.
I thought it was such a strange choice for this villain to
Yeah.
go, we're here. And then we'll be like, this is cool. And then they leave.
It feels like they
It
must have
wraps up-
just cut it. Because it's designed to look empty.
Totally.
Because I was like, oh, it does look empty. But then I was like, maybe this is just how treasure looks to them. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. No, it's a great reveal of just like they're looking for treasure. It's the biggest, hardest boss in the whole thing.
It feels like that's a really fun Indiana Jones Karma-esque ending.
Yeah.
As to all
Like
those
opening
movies
the
have.
thing. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All the villains, suddenly if every villain's here, like the big team of cops that rocks up, and then they're getting eaten by the monster.
Yeah.
You seems like that would just be a real, I mean, maybe the budget ran out, but that's a fun, then you can see
Yeah,
all the characters
yeah,
interacting. They're
absolute
running around, killing
havoc.
monster. Everyone's getting a big, like, explosion, it just seems like it would work. It's odd they've chosen not to do that. It's just, I can just see it. It just works, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, especially for this
now that
tone.
you've said that, it's also like that feels fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
Like that is one of those sorts of things that makes me go, oh, that's like good. Like that would actually, if the ending had this slight twist and this slight understanding of like what it was trying to say by the vault being empty,
Yeah.
that would be like enough to maybe bump it up slightly, in my opinion.
You're left with just, there's no riches. So
Yeah.
then there's like, okay, we have to actually look internally. What did we learn on the journey?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I learned that you're my friends and everything like that. Like, it's
But,
not.
yeah, like it's
not, but it's odd to leave this on the table when you're just left with, there's a villain gone.
Especially when, like, if you can just nail the third act, people leave happy.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I've just been given fire wings.
Yeah.
You've got my attention.
That start of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where they're all, it's slow-mo, they're fighting that big monster. That's all you need for the ending. That's all you need for the ending. Oh, yeah, upsetting. Then you got Kate. Anyway, the villain's gone.
Yep.
It's so underwhelming.
Everything. I love this. I hope that if you're listening and you haven't seen it, Oscar, I hope that if you didn't clock this, you should also go and watch this. It cuts to a party happening on the street.
Yeah.
And it is the most lifeless party I've ever seen. Nobody's bopping. Nobody's happy. I don't know what this is or what B-roll this is to pretend that there is a party.
Who would be celebrating?
What are they celebrating?
What's the news? People were like, guess what? A CEO, or maybe actually. Oh, wait, hang on. No, I totally get it, actually. This is why people are partying in the street. But essentially, it's just like, hey, someone at a faceless corporation got gobbled up. It's like, okay, well, this is like a desolate wasteland where people pretty much, kill and murder and rape and destroy. So,
I wouldn't stay.
no.
Now I wouldn't stay.
No, you wouldn't. Oh, wait, have you come to this planet to have a
Well,
holiday?
I'm just saying these characters that are there are like, hey, we did it and isn't that good? And I'm like, you should be
Is
leaving.
anyone native to this planet? Get out of here.
Yeah.
All these people. The only thing keeping people going is the vault. Get out of here. You're done. No.
Oscar, who would watch Borderlands?
Okay. I really didn't want to give a generic answer. But it really is hard to not say just almost the inverse of just check out what it's like to not adapt a video game well to screen. I can't not be mean. There really is an audience for this. Oh, I've only got written people like Funko Pop owners.
Look, but I mean, the thing is, it's like very this is ratings wise, one of the lowest we've done.
Yeah.
Like a 4.3 on IMDb, under like a 1.5 on Letterboxd, 10% on. This had a 0% for a long time on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
On Rotten Tomatoes. Like, this really is a film sort of for no one.
Yeah, I don't think it's got that that silliness of just sort of like, this is a broken film in the sense, like, look at and gawk at it. It is, they've stitched it together enough for it not, and capable is not the right word, but it's technically a sequence of events with nothing filling in the gap, So you've just got 5 story beats. And they've worn the mask of a video game that people like. So there's nothing really here, and just does suck, doesn't it? It's not good. Girl, who would watch Borderlands? I'll come up with a better one.
Look,
I've got
joke ones as well.
I've just got joke ones. I just got jives.
I do have a hyper specific scenario.
Hit me.
But I think it would work.
Yeah.
And I think this is who it would be for. If I had to formulate an answer.
Hit me.
You're traveling out on the road. You're doing some monotonous job. Let's say you're selling combs. You're a door-to-door comb salesman.
Yep.
And you're interstate, and you've been booked a shitty hotel room. And you go in and you turn on the TV, and it is the year 2045. You're catching the last 30 minutes of this movie. I think you would have a fun time trying to guess what the film was.
That's great. That's a great
You'd be
game.
like, oh, Kate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, what is Fire Wings?
Yeah.
This was something.
And
it's like the remote's not working, so you can't check what it says is actually playing.
It's a great game in 20 years' time.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm back in it.
And then the credits come up and it just says directed by Eli Roth, and you're like, fuck, what is the title? And you got to wait for the whole credits for at the end when it goes Borderlands in big letters. And then where it's all been done.
And it's a great sale because, dare I say, and this is maybe an insult to all the comb sales out there, I don't think they're doing too well in this modern market. Imagine how they're doing in 20 years' time.
They're definitely doing too well because I've had 3 knocks on my door recently.
I was going to say, it was very specific, but it seems like you've been bugged by
I'm in an apartment building.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got up that high.
Listen, have you bought a comb?
So, yeah.
Ivory.
Of course I bought a fucking comb.
3 times.
It's a booming economy.
But in 20 years' time, that bubble bursts.
It does. Look, I know things aren't
really-
great now economically, but the comb industry is booming.
Essentially, in 20 years' time, it's going to be Death of a Salesman, but in the background is Borderlands. And that's a great...
It's sort of like the Beanie Baby boom.
Yeah.
That's what it is for combs at the moment.
Yeah.
If you're not in Australia, you probably haven't noticed, but
gotta
people have great hair at the moment.
You got to collect rare ones. The red sparkly one is a very rare one. You got to get that one. It's
the one I
in mint
want.
condition. People are unboxing combs on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's great stuff. It's good stuff. Carl, who would watch Borderlands?
People that say they like Jack Black and everything and need to be proved wrong.
Okay, huge. I like that.
Oscar, who would watch Borderlands?
All the in-universe characters in Tar. Carl, who would watch Borderlands?
If you've ever wanted to see flame wings, Oscar, who would watch Borderlands?
Carl, if you own more than 20 badges and put those all on a strap bag, I think this actually would be your vibe. Carl, who would watch Borderlands?
If you're annoyed video game films and TV shows are getting too good, Oscar, who would watch Borderlands?
If you say puppo, I think if you say that word, this is up your alley. I mean, essentially got mean. I essentially Disney adults. I pretty much said if you lie in front of a photo for sexy ladies, you should be skinned for photos. Yeah, that sort of vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely for people that they put their face through one of those things where there's a cutout for a face.
Yeah, put on Instagram.
Yeah,
you know,
and then tag the Australian Open.
Yeah. Just
not that it's during that time. It
seems
just feels like you should probably tag them.
I'm back on board actually with this person. That's a great character. I want to live with them.
Oscar, we've got a short amount of time to do palate cleansers. Let's do a recommend to end this.
Huge.
What have you watched?
I'm going to do a big recommend. It's a Wachowski sisters flick, and it ain't The Matrix. It's the one before they did it, called Bound. Essentially, 2 lesbians get into a romance and decide to steal the money from the mob. It's very self-contained. It is just tense the whole way through. It's shot so gorgeously. It's so cheeky. It's so 90s. And it just ends in this really lovely climax. Absolutely massive recommend. Check it out. Carl, what have you been watching? What's your palate cleanser?
Great sell. I
Thank
would
you.
love the Wachowskis to do something low budget again.
It is fantastic. The characters it's oozing with just like sexy appeal. The mobsters are all gritty and gross, and like the whole time it's just like a fun anxiety pit, but it's also just got this cheekiness to it. It's shot, all the actors are amazing in it. It's the who's the scummy guy in The Matrix?
Joe Pantoliano.
Yes, he's the sort of like big mobster guy. Oh, and he's just seedy and gross. God, it's great.
He's so good in The Matrix.
If you like him in that, wait.
Yeah, sick. You've done a great sell on Bound.
Gotcha. Carl, what have you been watching?
I watched A Real Pain. It is a quick 82 minutes when the credits start rolling. It is so short, sharp. It is emotional. It is sweet. It has 2 fantastic central performances. If you've ever traveled in Europe, it's just fun to watch 2 people on a tour group.
Yeah.
You go, they've nailed what it's like to sit at a dinner table with people that when you're on a tour
I don't
group.
want to watch that. Something
Like-
you've turned me off the film. That's a harrowing depiction. Then
And it just has really good coverage of different themes and things about the Jewish experience that I really enjoyed learning about. And so I just thought it was a fantastic little gem of an indie movie. And good on Jesse Eisenberg, who has become a little writer-director. He hasn't really done anything good until this one, and look at him go.
Good for him.
I think he's got in it. He's got a really good segment in it about his beautiful feet, and I wonder if he knew he would play that character and needed to beautify his feet.
Oh, yeah.
Or if he has been complimented on his feet before and was like, I should talk about this.
I guess, honestly, if anyone's going to be complimented on their feet, it's probably any celebrity because they have that big, foot fetish thing. So every celebrity's on there. And you'd be kind of chuffed you kind of check it out. You're like, that's actually, I'm on a 4? That's all right.
I saw Quentin Tarantino said don't agree, gave it a 2 on Letterboxd.
Yeah, he's on Footbox, though.
Yeah.
And it's just vile. Such a stinky place there. But they've got such good
He's on tippy
critics.
toes.
Carl, you just spoke about traveling. Oh, we should get away, you know. We should go to the goddamn... You know, Europe sounds lovely. You know what else is lovely? Oh, Paris. Oh, to be 3 girls in Paris. Carl, it's Monte Carlo next week. The Selena Gomez Classic. Have I sold it?
Yeah.
Hells yeah.
What other Selena Gomez classic could you be talking about? Cinderella Story 2.
Cinderella Story.
That was the other choice. We actually sort of narrowed ourselves down to a Selena Gomez week,
We really were. We were going to watch the second season of Only Murders in the Building, but we just didn't think it had the punch.
No.
Didn't have the punch.
No.
You know?
And frankly, none of the seasons past the first one have.
Meryl!
Meryl! Oh, she is great. She is great on them.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.